I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners. Jesus speaks to the Pharisees today, and he's trying to help them realize that they would see themselves as the righteous. They would see the ones that are special. They are the ones that consider themselves holier than others. Why? Because they were lay people who very much studied the Jewish law and carried it out to a degree further than anyone else, especially seemed to be very much reserved for the priests and the temple. They wanted everybody to follow their strict adherence of the law. For Jesus, he identified with them and he didn't. He saw the good in them in terms of their desire to reform the Jewish people, to become holier and to adhere to Jewish laws. But he saw that they went too far to the point where they became self-righteous. And unfortunately, rather than including people, inviting people to live that way, they're putting them off. They were separating themselves from others. They were defeating the very purpose they desired. So Jesus says, I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners. To help everyone, including the Pharisees, including the scribes, all those who in their hearts obviously had a good intention, they weren't necessarily approaching it in the right way. And so when Jesus calls Levi today, who works at a customs post, works within the taxes there of the people, obviously not a popular person for a lot of people, nonetheless, Levi responds. We know him by another name as Matthew in another gospel. But here today, Jesus is inviting you and me to be aware, as the first reading says, the Word of God penetrates. How does this speak to us? How in our own lives, there's times where we really desire to do what's good and right. We can go overboard, and that may sound funny, but in other words, we can push off or separate ourselves from those who really could gain and benefit by what we have to offer. Jesus is inviting us, first of all, then to know how we are in need of his salvation, how we are sinners, and how to help others to do this, to be aware of this without pushing them away, saying, you're not as good as I am, but again, opening our hearts, seeing what is their need, seeing what we can do to bring them to the Lord.